Well, hello there. My name is Susan Hamilton, and you're watching OffBeat Business TV or listening to the OBBM Network podcast. I'm here with Tina O'Banion today, TFO Solutions, and it's really important you meet her. I'm excited to share her with you. We'll be right back, and you're going to learn so much about your business growth.
Welcome to OffBeat Business TV and the OBBM Network podcast. CEO and host Susan Hamilton shares vital insight from local DFW leaders on successful life and business, focused squarely on local family business. It's time for our nation to rise, and we'll do it through a vibrant local business sector that stands up for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Ready to meet your advocates? Here's your host.
Tina, I'm so glad that you're here today.
Yes.
This is exciting. What a crazy time. We could decide to sit down and do nothing and let local just kind of sink and evaporate, but there's a spirit in our local business communities, and I can kind of feel them lifting up. I know that you got super busy.
Yeah, I did. I mean, got bombarded in April.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, we have seen a lot of growth, actually. Mm-hmm. And this is a good time for people that are wanting to go forward powerfully into the community. And I always want to encourage people to do that, because I don't think we've ever come so close to really looking at the absence of local business. And I can't see in America like that I don't know that any of us can. And it became very, very close. And in a lot of communities, they're going to be suffering a lot more losses than we did here in the DFW area. But it was still quite significant. But here we are. The people that are ready to go forward and push forward are doing so, and they may not have the oversight they need, which is why I want to make sure they're talking to you. As I want to encourage you, if you got an idea, if you've got something exciting that you've been thinking about going for, do it. It's important. It's not just your business and your great idea. It's a catalyst for the local business community, for the success of your community. That includes your neighbors and everybody else through what you do. But man, surround yourself with people who know more than you do about business.
That's for sure. That's for sure, especially when it comes to finances. You may have this great idea, but you just don't know how to fund it or how to get out there. Reach out to someone that really understands, what it would take to grow your business. I started my business a year ago, and I've been, playing behind, CEOs and good and bad people along the way. And I finally chose to kind of do this because I love entrepreneurs. I love working with them. I love strategizing with them. I love seeing what they can come up with and the ideas, and then put it into an actual plan, a budget, a forecast, or whatever they're doing. A business plan, for example. I mean, you may have this great idea, but how do you put it together in a business plan? If you don't know anything how to add 1 + 1, you shouldn't be doing a business plan without some help to get there.
Get your basic ideas down there. Don't be intimidated by that. Start somewhere.
Right, exactly.
Start something.
Take that leap.
But start to surround yourself. I'm really grateful here on the OBBM network to be surrounded by so many great business minds and resources. So I consider myself a little bit spoiled. I get to talk to you guys and I get to pick your brain, and that's important because there's not just the pitfalls. I think a lot of times when people are looking for financial oversight, they are concerned about the pitfalls and the things that are dangerous, the lurking in the background. Yes, they exist. Yes, you should be concerned about them. But I think what's fun about understanding the CFO position a little bit more is that strategic ability that you have to know where success is around the corner. You can forecast those things. You can kind of see where our opportunities are, possibly faster, and I would say more likely faster.
Yes,
than we can.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll take an example for during the pandemic. A lot of business had to pivot. So how are they going to generate the same revenue that they've been generating, or what am I going to do differently so that I can still support and put food on the table with my family. So I think it's so important to have someone to talk to about what are my next steps. But keep in mind that it is not just today, but we should all have a plan of how our future is going to look and make sure that we have the savings that we have enough in our bank account to make it 2 months, to make it so that you can pivot on time to be able to survive, right? And I think it's important that you're not living just customer to customer to customer. You've got to think about what is the customer acquisition cost. That's something that we don't talk about. Or even employee acquisition cost. Well, if I lose this employee, what are some of the things that I can do differently so that I can retain that employee, because they're such a good, a huge part of my organization, but how can I retain them? How can I get them engaged, or maybe do something a little bit differently? It's that thinking outside the box that a CFO brings to the table, right? And you don't have to have a high expensive, CFO. And, what I love about this is that I'm affordable. I do everything from the back office to the boardroom, which means I can do the basic accounting and your bookkeeping services, and I can help you see through a financial lens what we can come up with together.
I'd like to see everybody take the word uncertainty completely out of their vocabulary. I mean, I know that's the big word. Things are so uncertain. Oh my goodness, you can't plan like that. And I do believe that word exists for that dubious reason. If we are not thinking about that, because a plan, the very first part of any plan is to sit down and shut up and think. And you've got to think about possibilities. If you are so busy thinking about all the things that could go wrong first, if that's your first thought, how do you get past that? How do you even write that down?
Yeah, I mean, how do people name their kids when you're asking you're asking everyone, like, hey, I'm going with Alexis. Oh, well, I had Alexis' friend, and da-da-da. Well, you know what? You're never going to name your kid unless you stop asking what they think about it, right? You got to go out there, you got to make it happen, and you just make that baby, and you run with it. You name it, and you got to step out and do that. The naysayers and the people say that even your internal gut will say, this is not the right time. I say this is a great time to invest in yourself, invest in your business and your ideas, okay? Stop surrounding yourself with naysayers, right? That's what I say. Just stop it. Stop it. Just try to make, just go out there and take a chance.
I think that's important, to surround yourself with a circle of people that are going to help you think through these things. And that requires a pause. And that's I think more than anything, that's the tricky space right now. So we're going to listen to a few of our sponsors, and when we come back, we're going to talk about what that pause really needs to look like so we can make better steps going forward. We'll be right back. Strong business has always been the clear economic indicator. Work Suites in Allen, Texas is just one of 18 locations in DFW and Houston that support your necessary transitions with full service and affordable workspaces for upgrading or downsizing your current workload. You need to be focused on growth. Trust the office experts and helpful staff at Work Suites to take care of everything else, from dedicated phone lines and internet to furnished executive and co-working spaces. The OBBM network has tripled our business in the short months we've been with Work Suites and encourages you to step out boldly, make the tough decisions, and get back to work your way. Your nation depends on it. The OBBM network acknowledges that this is a pivotal time in history, and it is clear the United States of America has been undermined by many of our elected officials for some time now. We want our local business audience to stand strong in the face of what we now understand, and to be empowered to grow our businesses on the local level beyond the limitations that have been imposed upon us. We believe it is in our national interest to inspire our communities through strong economic development, and additionally to hold our elected officials accountable for accurate representation of we the people. For that reason, we encourage you to go to WeStandForFreedom.com to learn about the National Write Your Congressman organization that has been the trusted communication tool for local communities for over 60 years. Learn how your representatives are voting. Understand the laws and regulations under consideration on the state and federal level before they are enacted at the county and city levels. Communicate directly with these officials and stand up for yourself, for by doing so, you will protect the communities you serve from tyrannical rule and unconstitutional reforms. The OBBM network is the premier voice for local business, and we take that responsibility seriously. The OBBM network has everything you need to grow and transition your business for success on popular syndicated podcast networks, Roku and other video channels, and the OBBM network app. We work for you, local business, and we've got your back. And we're back. You're watching OffBeat Business TV. You're listening to the OBBM Network podcast. My name is Susan Hamilton. I'm here with the lovely Tina O'Banion. Are you serving the DFW area, or do you work on a national level?
National level. I've got clients in different states in the United States. I actually have a specialty in international accounting. I've been doing that for 15 years.
Oh my goodness!
I know. It's like
well, geez, we have to know it because now everything, there's such a everybody who's got an online website has a global presence.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So let's take some ownership of that. There's so much more we can do. So we were talking before we went to the break about how important it is to stop and think about the possibilities, really, and have those few moments of being quiet and considering who in our circle of influence, who do we know that can breathe life into that part of your thought process, right? You probably know somebody who knows money, but do you have somebody on your team that's advising you on that strategy? Because you're going to hear a lot of people tell you those great ideas are impossible. I cannot tell you how often I have heard that.
Exactly.
And if I listen to that garbage, I'd never do anything.
Right.
Because risk is everywhere. There is nothing you're going to do without risk, and there's a financial risk to just everything. The bigger risk, in my opinion, for myself and for the nation, is that we allow too much time to pass and we don't take advantage of opportunities. So having a relationship with a CFO really helps you see things from a higher level.
I do. I've actually, when I was going through grad school, getting my master's in business administration, I helped a lot of my classmates develop their business plans in entrepreneurship class. And so as I was working with not everyone, they just kept coming to me because I was a finance person and I had been doing this for years and years. And they asked for help on the finance piece of it. And a lot of them didn't have a clue as far as how do I put together financials forecast for the first year up to year 5. They didn't have a clue what they would be charging. They didn't have a clue what this gadget would cost, and so they just really needed my help. And at that point, I just loved working with them. They were my classmates and they were my friends, and I just really enjoyed it back then. And then as time has gone on, I realized that this is such a missing piece of a lot of businesses that need that financial lens. They've got this great idea, and I think that people need to rely on people like myself and others that are here to help with that strategy. So many times, I think people get called an accountant, and they just don't have that piece, that vision, the big picture. That how do I bouncing ideas off of you? I think that's why I love doing what I do is to help entrepreneurs with that aspect of their business.
Well, even if we don't have that other piece of it and understand that what we share with the accountant is all they know about your business, we have to teach them all those pieces also. When you are looking at, what do you think is probably the most common misconception people have about a CFO?
That they're expensive and they are just not available in the marketplace, right? And we are here, and a lot of CFOs don't want to do the accounting piece of it, right? They're more focused on the strategy and the big picture visionary piece of it, and the board members and everything else. But they don't get into the weeds. And so when you don't get into the weeds, you really don't know what's going on, making sure that they're US GAAP compliant or they're international IFRS compliant. So it's really good to understand the nuts and bolts of what's going on, but also the visionary. Does that make sense?
It does. It does, but because I believe a lot of times, and the way I've always understood it, you don't work in a vacuum.
Yeah.
You work with a team that would include your accountant, your bookkeeper, CPA, and even a tax attorney.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Tax attorney, CPAs that do your tax returns. You've got to be interactive with them. Say, yes, do you believe in these financials you're presenting to them? Yes, I do, and they can do the tax return.
I think you're absolutely right that people don't realize they have access to this kind of information. I think a lot of times you think you've got to come to that board level in your business, and so for the local family business who we serve, we know who you are, that 80 to 85% of American micro to small business that tend to be family-owned businesses of 9 employees or less. We love you, and we are here for you. My assistant tells me they're teaching her at the college. It is now 90% of American micro to small business. That's a big deal. We can't afford to miss this group. And a lot of you probably don't think you need a CFO. Well, guess what? You're not going to be able to make those big pivots and the big leaps, actually. That's a better word.
Right.
It's the leap, because when other people shrink back, that is the opportunity. And it's strange to me how many people have looked at everybody shrinking back and felt like, oh, I'm shrinking back. We all must be shrinking. We all must be shrinking. And it's like, no, that's really not what's happening.
Right.
If everything else is shrinking back, that's your opportunity to push forward. As a matter of fact, if you're not willing to step up into that space, I think you're in a dangerous spot.
I think so
you
too.
really need to go forward.
Yeah, I think so too. I think there's so much opportunity when things are down. You got to pick yourself up. I say falling up. You fall down. You got to brush it off and got to learn from that experience and keep going and keep thriving and following your dreams and your passion, and or else you're never going to get there, right? I mean, I wouldn't be sitting here today if I didn't follow my passion.
I love that. I love that, because we have a little bit of history. We shared a stage once upon a time, and that was fun. It's my first time that I met Tina. And we had a blast, and we've kept in contact over those years. But now the way our circles are turning, here we are again with this opportunity to share and come together through the OBBM network and serve the community in a deeper way. Tina, I'm thrilled that you're here. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back in just a few moments. Introducing IV Hookup.
IV treatments have been the standard of care used for years to deliver intravenous hydration treatment to patients. Our medical director has created a safe, industry-standard protocol to efficiently support your wellness through IV vitamin hydration, including options for athletic performance, mood enhancement, general wellness, and hangover recovery. IV Hookup now offers full-spectrum COVID-19 testing at reasonable prices. This means we can get you and your staff tested in a quick time frame. Are you hosting a group event? We can provide a customized package for IV treatment and COVID testing as well. IV Hookup has everything you need to both stay healthy and to prove it.
Go to ivhookup.com to order yours, and we'll bring it right to you. That's ivhookup.com.
Our position in the market is that we work for a customer to align them with the correct retailer for their business. We'll custom price and build a contract around your business requirements, not around the supplier's preferred way of doing things. We go and do a custom price based on your energy usage profile. In our business, we can help any commercial business owner regardless of the size of their company. If you're paying $100 for your electricity per month or you're paying $1 million, we're able to help you get a better price based on who you are. Our position in the market is that we work for a customer to align them with the correct retailer for their business. Texas is very proud to have been able to shut down 9 coal-fired power plants in the last 2 years and replace that production with clean burning renewable energy. The 85% of the electricity in the grid for Texas is used on commercial. We're here to help those 85% reduce their costs as much as possible.
And we're back. I'm sitting here with Tina O'Banion. My name is Susan Hamilton. Hey, check you out. You have had so much success over we'd be doing another project right now if it weren't for yet another account that you've had that has got you really, really busy. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your greatest success story? Let us understand this from a story point of view.
Well, okay, so I started working for a venture capital firm that has been acquiring businesses to help them grow and bring in some good talent to kind of see them to the next level. Working with this group has just been so much fun because they are still expanding, still growing. But what I've love about them is the trust that they've entrusted on me to help them with the finances. They could do it themselves. One actually has an accounting degree and finance degree. They could actually do the stuff that I'm doing, but they're focusing more on, how do we grow this thing? How do we turn this around? So it's a turnaround situation. So they've entrusted on me to go in and identify where some gaps are, some missing expenditures or missed accruals or what have you. I know I'm talking accounting talk. Accruals, and but basically where their vulnerabilities are within the P&L and the balance sheet. So I've kind of come in and cleaned all this stuff up, and they can just really entrust that I'm doing them right. Making sure one of the things I did for them is I went and looked at their inventory system. They hadn't changed their cost of goods sold for their inventory in 2.5 years. Well, guess what? That stuff changes. We had tariff taxes implied from China back in November and October of last year. So none of the cost of goods sold was reflective of this high additional tax. So they were understating their costs, which is not good. Overstating their assets, which is also not good. So being able to work with the IT team, being able to work with operations, that's what I offer to them is what our team. I have more than just me, myself, and I working for this TFO Solutions. So I think that's just been a great eye opener. Like, well, why are we doing this? And had I not been there, you just kind of take things for granted, like it's working, And then there's been lessons learned along the way that I've experienced. Some heartaches when they've gotten me in too slow, too late in the game, when they were trusting others to kind of manage their accounting. I've seen some not so fun things going on. Misappropriation of funds or what have you. That's always that sticky point where had they brought me in sooner, we could have identified that. Yeah, that's kind of,
It's easy enough to do, and, that's just it. With a whole team approach, you're not going to get to that spot of critical mass where you're going to be able to support that business. You've got people on your team that are managing everything. Tell us a little bit about your team.
So I've got one of my favorite people has followed me to 3 different places over the last 14 years, and she is my latest employee. She's fantastic. She just loved working with me 14 years ago, and then we moved over to another place, and she called me up. She said, "Hey, I would love to work with you again." I said, "Well, come on, let's do this." And she's my tactical. She's wanting to learn more than just the tactical. She has an accounting degree. I absolutely love working with her. She gives a lot of spirit to me and the team. And I'm actually got a job board out on UTD for another staff accountant to help me, a student of my my school I went to. I can't say that word. Oh my gosh! Help me, Susan.
So you're alma mater.
Yeah,
alma mater.
Yes, exactly. So, anyways, I'm looking to hire and grow.
Good for you. Good for you. Keeping it real right here.
Keep it real for sure.
Business TV. It's good. I'm glad that you're growing your team. How many do you have now?
I have 3.
Yeah, that's good. And you're willing to work with young people there over at UNT.
Absolutely.
Bring them on.
I'm a teacher. I love to teach.
Me too. It's a big part of it. I mean, somebody was speaking on their why at an earlier show, and it was really, that's true. If you don't have that motivation to keep you going, and I think that's why it's so important to have this conversation, because the people out there that are moving forward have that why.
Yeah.
The ones that are thinking about growth are thinking about it in more than just their growth for their own personal reason. We're talking about people that chances are paying for the Little League team. They're sponsoring the school activities. They're running for public office in their local communities or running for school board. They're on top of running a business. They're doing all of these types of things because their heart's in it, and they want to be a part of the success of their community. They want to be a part of the design of the community. Well, don't miss that vital part of getting with the CFO and getting some strategic ideas for how to put those things together. You can help people avoid pitfalls. You can help people see opportunities that they don't see. Because part of your position is paying attention to the changes in in legislative ideas and in the things that people are talking about. So Tina, how can our audience get a hold of you?
Well, I can be found on the internet, who can't? TFO Solutions, LLC.com. And we are your accounting services from the back office to the boardroom. You can email me at info@tfosolutionsllc.com. And that stands for Total Financial Outfitters. So this is us.
Totally financially outfitters. You need to do it. You're also an OffBeat Business Alliance member, and for all of our OBA members can be found on our mobile directory. Find that in the OffBeat Business app. We look forward to talking with you again. Until next time, you have been watching OffBeat Business TV or listening to the OBBM Network podcast.